taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Yeah, and that's actually a perfect segue into our third and final topic of the night. You know,
yes.
Yeah, with this is coming straight up from Matchroom from Mr. Fast Eddie Hearn. Another MSG classic in the making, most likely for his car. Like I said, his American car's kind of hit or miss, but this car definitely has all the hallmarks, the earmarks of a hit.
Yeah, it got a Joshua Ruiz vibe to it.
It definitely does. And then given women's boxing, it's arguably its first real super fight. I could say ever, but I mean, we did have an Ali Frazier fight, in the women's division that got some attention. But ever since then, women's fight. I mean, they fight the fights, but not a super fight, not something that's actually had attention. This fight actually has attention for days for women's boxing. Like when you have someone like Billie Jean King talking talking commercials and shit like that, or talking about they're gonna have WNBA players in the building for this, and Rosie Perez, who's incredibly knowledgeable about boxing, like who's dropping all types of knowledge on this shit and saying she's gonna be there. Like you got something special brewing, and you got, of course, we're talking about Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. And the reason why I say this, it's a good segue from the age thing, is both of these women are not young. Like one's 33, the other one's 35. So they're not like the 20-year-olds or whatever, or even the late 20s or whatever. Like these two are probably. Amanda Serrano's probably still in prime. She hasn't really fallen off, whereas Taylor is probably hitting that tail end of her prime.
You could say the same thing with Serrano too.
Yeah, Serrano's 33. But Serrano hasn't really shown that type of slippage.
Yeah, but it's like she's been fighting at that level for so long, and then like she's definitely like. Yeah, no, I would like she's prime, but I would say they're both like on the other side of their prime.
Right, and then obviously, because the one thing about Serrano that used to be like, this is crazy, because Serrano used to, used to be fighting with, with the candle burning at both ends, like jumping into MMA, doing wrestling, doing all types. Like she's like, everything that she could like do. Like she was so even her Twitter videos. Like I know we used to talk about, like, God damn, it's like it seemed like all she cares about is just to train and fight. It's just. But she's good at it. But it just seemed like that just seems like it's just a lot of there's a lot of accumulation that's going on. But then of course, she's always said like she fights like this so she can earn a living. And then with the history, if you know the history of this fight was a couple years in the making. Like we were supposed to get this fight like 2-3 years ago, something like that. And then Eddie was trying to get this fight on the low because Serrano, money-wise, because Serrano was not a matchroom fighter, but Taylor was.
See, now that's the thing. Shout out to Luki Boxing, because we talked about this fight last Monday, and I know everybody, like especially on boxing Twitter, everybody always makes a big deal about how there's so much money Katie Taylor brought to women's boxing. And I'm always like, yeah, she brought eyes and more money to the sport and more attention, but she didn't do it herself, by herself. People forget that, she was a part of an era. And along with that, if she brought so much money to the sport, why did it take Jake Paul coming in to actually get this fight finally made?
Right. And the funny thing too is when Jake Paul came into the picture, this is where you heard all the stuff about Serrano not getting paid, this, that, and the third. Like that all got replaced by smiles. Niggas like
and she carries herself differently now. Like she steps into that damn you don't see the bitter tweets on Twitter no more like that.
Yeah, none of that.
None of that. Well, if you guys like this type of fighting, then I guess be my guest and. Yeah. All that extra shit, the saltiness. So That just tell you, like, you know, once you on the winning team, motherfuckers invest in you and they promote you and show you how to conduct yourself, and you willing to listen and learn, you become happier and you train even harder.
Exactly, and then obviously, I mean, and I know it was a big thing for her because she was last time she fought, she was on the Jake Paul, Jake Paul, yeah, on the
both of them kids.
Yeah, you know, she was, and then and then Jake Paul kind of did, you know, he took a cut from, you know, from his own cut, and you know, he paid the other fighters a little bit more, and then Serrano got like $1 million or whatever, which is kind of unheard of for her, like in that. So,
and then she had about 1 million people watching her too, so which is unheard of. So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's a come up, like.
Yeah, and she got her look, and she got it without Eddie, having Eddie involved, you know. And so now it's like, you know, Eddie is like, now obviously Eddie's, you know, Eddie had tried to, you know, has had Jake Paul. I think it was Jake Paul or Logan Paul. Was it Jake Paul or Logan Paul on this card once? The one that you were at, LB.
Oh no, that was Jake Paul. Man, that was the most fucking stacked card, I think. Matchroom ain't have a stacked card more stacked than that afterwards.
Facts.
Jake Paul, all the motherfuckers, yeah, but yeah, that was Logan was there though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But Eddie, you know, obviously he saws that, and now, you know, Jake Paul is someone in there. So now Eddie is really, you know, Eddie was like, you know what, I'm ready to do business now. I'm ready to do legit business. So now, you know, thanks to Jake Paul, because he was the one who got this shit going and cracking. You know, Eddie is just like, you know, just Eddie's now just completing the cipher in this particular place. So now we have a true women's super fight between.
Yeah, because wasn't it like 130,000 or some shit they wanted to give Serrano for this fight?
Yeah, like Eddie Global, yeah, because Eddie was like, because, you know, Serrano, he took advantage of it. Serrano didn't have no backing like that, and it was just like, yeah,
and which is believable because remember, he was just trying to give Shields like what 300K. Yeah, he says 300K, she says 250, but right. That's still too low because honestly, a fight like Marshall and Shields, I don't think we even start negotiations unless he's starting at $500,000 or 750,000 or $1 million.
Well, I mean, that's the reason why. Well, I mean, obviously, when Eddie left Sky Sports, there were some fights that were signed there, and Marshall was not signed to Eddie like that. So now Marshall and Shields have, you know, will obviously, you know, will be negotiating for far more money without Eddie being involved in that one, and that's true.
Yeah, cause, like, I don't know, was the money going to his suits or some shit? Like, yeah, like nigga, like,
yeah,
certain fights should have been made, like,
right, but at least now, thank God, it was made on time, because there were times where, I mean, although Serrano is not undefeated, she does have the one loss she suffered like 12 years ago. You know, but Taylor has been looking more, and if you heard us talk about Taylor when we recap Taylor's fights, she has been looking more and more vulnerable, you know, to a degree. So it's like,
honestly, the Han fight is the most dominant she's looked,
yeah,
in a long time, and that's because Han really just took the fight like a money fight.
Money fight, and she had a baby, so because I remember she lost like 40, 50 pounds or something, or 80 pounds.
Yeah, 80 pounds, like, and it showed like in her performance, like that
but she couldn't turn it down because of the money.
Yeah, so barely, you know, it was just and the thing is, Taylor couldn't even really put a stamp on her in the fight, which made it even worse for the effort. Meanwhile, and she never even heard her like that. Meanwhile, Mayer is like dogging her out, and even then, Han is at least trying because he hit Mayer with some shots. So I'm just like, wow, like you did worse with a worse version,
right? And then of course, you know, obviously we talk about the pursuing fights, you know, those fights obviously are just and then of course the Jonas fight, which might actually be the closest of score wise, is probably the closest she's actually come to actually losing a fight. You know, it was like, you know,
Yeah, 'cause that's a 6 rounds to 4 type fight. Like some people might even say that's a draw, but I feel like Taylor did enough to eat that by.
you know,
But it was a tough fucking fight with Jonas.
yeah, that was So
Because it's like Jonas started a round or two too late,
right.
and that's what kind of killed that. But she came in strong, came in hard the second half.
She did.
And they really put hands on Taylor. So that's the thing, man. Taylor, shit, don't let her. Shit, and you know, Mayer's already looking at want to fight the winner. To me, that's a better fight than this fight.
Yeah, you know, and
I just want to see Serrano get the knockout and then be done with it.
Yeah, and like I said, Taylor is. I mean, obviously, you know, Taylor obviously is undisputed.
Taylor is a first name.
Oh shit!
Name, entity, string, name.
Sorry about that.
First name.
Sorry, that's the echo. I didn't even give it a command.
Since it was Taylor.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I always forget that thing is actually near me. I need to mute that thing. But yeah, no, Taylor, like I said, I mean, it's good. At least she's hung on to her 0. And like I said, she's still undisputed at lightweight, you know, so that, I mean, the titles are definitely making it a lot bigger fight. And Serrano's had like belts in 8 type of divisions. Like she goes up and down the divisions like crazy, you know. So it's an intriguing fight too. I mean, it's more intriguing because Serrano is one of those obviously people would say, oh, the women fighters need to fight 3-minute rounds to get more knockouts. Serrano doesn't have that problem. Not one. She's 42-1-1 with 30 knockouts. She gets her knockouts. So it's not. Yeah, so
because you just adjust, man. Look, if boxing ended up being 1 round, they'd be motherfuckers getting knockouts still.
Facts.
Like it just is what it is. Because that's like saying like, okay, there's street fights that are like 20 seconds and motherfuckers get knocked out.
Yeah, facts.
Like people adjust. Like
yeah. And then
yes, Serrano does need a knockout to beat the female Canelo. God damn it, you're absolutely right.
Right, yeah.
Taylor is the fucking female Canelo because you can do the Pursuit fights like Canelo, like in Golovkin, like Pursuit definitely won that first fight, and the second fight you could have got away saying it was a draw. Mm-hmm. But I felt Pursuit won both clearly, but you can say the second fight was a draw. Taylor fought better, but ain't no way she won that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, she didn't win that first fight. She didn't. So yeah, so now
I was talking about the second one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the first one, nigga.
No, I'm saying like that's why I was comparing them to Canelo Golovkin, where like the first Pursuit Taylor fight, Pursuit definitely won that. That shit was the big robbery. Right. The second Pursuit Taylor fight is the fight that you could have really had being a draw.
But she won it a little bit. She won it more widely too, which was kind of crazy.
Exactly, but she didn't do better like that. Like she looked better in the round she won, but round wise and hit connect wise, like she was still putting hands on, and she was still losing rounds and getting out hit. Like right. So that's why, like, just like a lot of people with Canelo Golovkin, like a lot of people give the second fight a draw. There's a good amount of people who say that second fight's a draw. Mm-hmm. So that's how I was comparing it. But yeah, like fucking Taylor, like she can box and she's solid. She got some pop on her shots, but I feel like Serrano can get.
Yeah, but Serrano really does have pop on her shots. She's one.
She ain't got no pop. Serrano can fucking hit. Like she got power. Like but pop is what you say. Like for people who, you know, they're above average. Like they're not feather dusters, but you know they're not no knockout punchers. Like
right, yeah.
But I feel like Serrano's been getting hit more recently.
She has, but then like it's like I said, because she goes up and down these divisions a little bit too much. Like I mean, one minute she's at featherweight, next she's at lightweight. So it's that time she goes up and down these scales. So we just don't know what is actually going to be. You know, we don't know what is actually going to catch up with. But then she trains all the time. Like she in terms of training, like she might be like top 10 in terms of like train male or female. Like she's always training. Like it's ridiculous. See, like,
but you don't cheat the grind, so like I appreciate that.
yeah,
And
like,
you get better performances.
and I always thought that Serrano was had this height advantage over her, but surprisingly, she's only a half-inch taller than Katie Taylor. I always thought that she was way bigger than Taylor for some reason, and then Katie Taylor has a longer reach than her, which is always, I was like, huh, that's interesting.
She gonna need it. Cause
yeah,
if she can't fucking get Serrano off of her, it's over.
Yeah, no.
If she thought pursuing was a fucking problem,
yeah. Wait until the jabs.
Serrano.
Yeah, wait until the jabs and stuff start breaking her down. AOP,
and Serrano southpaw, come on.
AOP, man, what are we thinking, man? I know, this is your fellow Puerto Rican and everything in this thing against Katie Taylor, man. What are we thinking here?
Man, I got Serrano winning this. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. I'm gonna say decision. I was wavering back and forth because she does have power, but really the power hasn't really carried above featherweight. Like, so I mean, I'm not saying she don't got the power, but like it's different at the higher weights. And
wow, hold on, wait. So you picking Stevenson by KO and Serrano by decision? I'll be damned.
Yeah. I thought about picking Serrano by decision, but I'm picking Serrano. I mean, I thought about picking Serrano by KO, but I'm gonna pick Serrano by decision. I think Katie Taylor is bigger and more mobile than some of the people that she hasn't knocked out. But I still think she could hurt her at times. I think she'll just be quicker. I think she'll be stronger. I think she'll be ready for this. And Katie is on her way down, honestly. I've not been impressed by Katie Taylor in a while, and I've been very honest about that, upfront about that.
So we all have.
Yeah.
I think she's ripe for the picking. I think this is Serrano's time. So she's going to take it.
That's what it is. I mean, and honestly, I mean, this is where again, like, it's a little different again. I mean, I actually think Serrano will actually stop Taylor. I mean, 2 minutes be damned. Like, I think, I think Serrano probably will probably stop Taylor, like, probably late. I'm saying maybe 9th round knockout for Serrano. Yeah, because like I said, because I think Taylor is tough. Like, Taylor hasn't been nailed yet, and she has taken some good shots, but Serrano will definitely be the best puncher she's ever faced. And I mean, Jonas was also a good puncher too, and she eked by Jonas on the cards, and Serrano has a 70% KO rate, so it's like, yeah. So that's why I'm going. Like, I just think Serrano is just a little bit too is fresh. I can't say fresher either. She's younger. She has the younger aspect of it, but I wouldn't say fresher. But I just think that Katie Taylor won't be able to handle what Serrano is going to be throwing at her. Because one thing Taylor does do, and she has been doing lately, is being gassing, like, a lot. Like, she, like, her work rate isn't what it used to be. That's for damn sure. Whereas Serrano actually gets stronger when she actually, as the fight goes on. Like, Serrano can get caught cold, but once she starts warming up, she's a problem, especially with the body shots. Taylor's gonna feel them body shots. So that's why I'm just like, this is gonna be a stoppage. Serrano's gonna stop Taylor in the 9th round. What about you, LB?
7. Serrano gonna put her foot in her ass here, but I actually can see her stopping her in the 5th, but I give women's rounds. I was like, I give it 2 more rounds.
Right, right.
Yeah, but I'd be surprised if someone see a step out. Like, Taylor is tough, but somebody like Serrano who constantly Serrano's like a female Spence in a way where she's in your wheelhouse, constant pressure, and then just mowing you down with body and head shots, and they're hard, heavy-handed shots.
Word.
Sparring with dudes, she's tough as fuck. She's been getting hit a little more lately, but she's still tough. She walks through the shots most of the time. Like, I just don't see Taylor. Even if Taylor can keep her off for a couple rounds. Now, boxer, I don't think she could do that for 10 rounds the whole fight. So,
agreed.
Yeah, the minute she lets up a little, Taylor is going to look like a killer whale going after a great white.
Yo, facts. It'll get super ugly. So yeah, Taylor better not gas. Like so, yeah. If Taylor starts gassing, yeah. Serrano's gonna make sure she won't be breathing with them body shots. That's for damn sure. You know.
Yeah, because Serrano, like, she like beats up people's faces. Like, she don't just like some people, like, they hit you with sharp punches that, like, the impact is just wow. Like, it don't lead to damaging marks. Like, some niggas got these Hokuto Shinken hands, and they hit you with the damn Kenshiro, this to the South Star and North Star shit, and they be leaving welts and damages and beating your face up. Like, niggas like Spence Golovkin, like Kelly Pavlik was another one.
Yep.
Those are the type of guys who just beat you the fuck up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you'll see Floyd hit you with sharp ass punches for the whole fight 200 times, and the motherfucker just have a black eye.
Yeah, that was Canelo.
And it's like other dudes be like that too. But yeah, like, or you'll see a guy like Clottey get overrun with 1,200 punches by Prime Pacquiao, and
but Pacquiao's the one that's more marked up off the field.
Yeah, exactly. You knew where I was going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be like that. So yeah, Taylor by destruction. I'm sorry, Serrano by destruction.
And then but also too, because also
we can talk about this undercard.
Yeah, well, no, but before we go into that one, I'm still on FanDuel, so yeah, the money line is actually a lot closer in this fight than it was for Stevenson Valdez. You know,
people still think highly of Taylor. Like, to me, she's overrated. But we're more honest about evaluating Valdez's stature.
Yeah, and Taylor is the underdog in this fight. She's plus 102. Serrano's the 130 favorite.
Okay, so they're not stupid. They're giving her a chance, though. But at least they keeping it close.
Right, and then
so niggas recognize she the favorite.
So obviously now the method of victory is all positive. Like if Katie wins by decision, it's plus 170. If Serrano wins, it's plus 195. If Taylor wins by KO, it's plus 600. If Serrano wins by KO, it's plus 310, and the draw is 1400.
So yeah, that just tell me it's like they can see a decision happen with Serrano beating her ass, but the KO can happen too. But it's decent because like they don't look at it like Valdez Stevenson, but they're like, nah, nigga, I don't think that's happening at all.
Yeah, they covered all the bases. Yeah, so pretty much
I can respect the odds.
Yeah, so basically, if you put a bet, on anything in those scenarios, most likely, if you do a prop bet, then most likely you might cash in if you do all of them, depending on how much you put down.
Yeah.
You know?
So man.
So that's definitely a good, great main event, and then also the undercard itself, though. This is one of Eddie's better undercards. Obviously, the co-main. Yeah, the co-main has a potential to actually be a brawl. Of course, that'll be Jesse Vargas and Liam Smith. That one. Obviously for me, I want Liam Smith to win because flat Jesse Vargas and his political views have kind of been aggravating me lately. So I just want dude beaten.
Yeah, I think Beefy wins this too. It just he had a nice little comeback in the Fowler fight, and I think he's just been operating at a higher level, a little more consistently, more recently.
Yeah, and then obviously ignoring how he got jobbed in that fight in Russia, McGee was the last person to really beat him, and that was almost 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
And then Jesse Vargas is like, he'd be going life and death with a lot of people.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a naturally a 154 guy like that either.
Yeah, the Humberto Soto, which is his 154 win, You know, and that's a Humberto Soto that's already been put through the fucking ringer itself. Like, you know,
Yeah, that's a wild. I mean, come on, that's like beating Angulo now. Like,
yeah, and then that's bookended by 2 draws. You know, the Broner, of course, we all say, you know, that one he already could have won, and the Delorme fight.
you say that? Nah, that shit was a draw. Like, he was getting his ass with my brother.
No, I believe this nigga won that fight, bro. Like, he won that.
That was a 6 rounds apiece. Like,
yeah, that nigga beat Broner though, but he definitely should have lost to Delorme though. That's for damn sure. He should have lost it.
No, he beat Delorme. You know, like,
He should have.
He dropped that nigga too. Like,
you know, I mean, the wild thing, obviously, if Delorme didn't drop him in the final round, he would have won. But he would have won by unanimous decision.
see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and then of course the Mikey put his foot in his ass too, and you know,
did he? My goodness, like,
yeah, you know, and
how you go life and death with dudes your size, but then the little guy beats your ass?
Yeah, go figure.
I mean, he put hands on Mikey. Don't get like Mikey earned it, but like I just remember the ass kicking being so bad.
Yeah, no, because Mikey almost had him. I think I remember had him almost ready to go in that fight.
He did, like, yeah. I might have to rewatch that. I do remember Mikey like giving this dude Salido treatment.
Yeah, and that was one of the Zone's better cards before the pandemic. I mean, the Zone was about to be on a roll before the pandemic kind of wiped out their slate.
Facts. These niggas was like they had that summertime Rockefeller lineup.
Yeah, they
was like, we gonna give you beans, state property, bleed, like.
Yeah, no, it's a shame though. But then, and the reason why too, but then Jesse Vargas hasn't fought since, and that's 2 years out of the ring at 154 against someone who's been active. Like I just don't see Vargas is gonna get his ass whooped in this fight. I just can't see it. Liam Smith has been waiting,
and I'll be happy when it happens. Fuck Vargas.
Yeah.
Him in his black gloves and Hitman suit at press conferences. Who the fuck you think you are?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Take my sandwich.
Yeah, and dude's one of the few last standing from the original signees from Matchroom Boxing, you know, USA. You know, but he rarely fights. Which means he must have gotten paid good from that Mikey Garcia fight. For sure.
For real. Like, these niggas be getting these paydays and they just disappear to be chilling. Like,
yeah.
And then they get mad when YouTubers and everybody else is like, fuck it, I want to get boxing money. Right. Y'all do. It's your fault people believe y'all can do that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because y'all set it up like that. So we look at it like, shit, I'll fight with these randoms for like $250,000. Like, fuck that.
Right. But yeah, I definitely think Liam Smith will probably beat him by decision. We're seeing decision because, you know, Vargas, as tough as he is, you know, has not been knocked out yet. He's a tough guy to knock. You can knock him down, but he's a tough guy to knock out. You know, and yeah. But I do think 2 years out of the ring, like he has, and he's fighting at 154 against someone who is still a thing at 154. You know, Liam Smith.
Man, BP gonna knock him out. I think BP steps him big.
What round we talking?
How long is the fight?
It's a 12-rounder.
10 rounds.
P, what about you?
I think Beefy also stops him. I say 8 round.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think though both guys, like, there's not. I mean, they're gonna be brawling like in this. Like, that's one thing that's like they're gonna throw some hands in there. I don't think there's gonna be some sweet science going on in this fight.
And we don't need that.
Yeah, no. And then
say the sweet science for the ammo fight.
Yeah. Speaking of ammo, Ammo himself got himself a really good step up fight. Against Ammo's 10-0, and he's gonna be facing Cordell Booker 17-0. For one of the step up titles. The infamous Continental Americas title. And I put respect on that title because usually when niggas win that belt, usually that means they're ready to go to that next kind of level of opponents. It's not a GameStop belt to me. And so but at least it was about time that because Ammo is obviously one of Eddie's young prospects, and so it's about time that one of his young prospects actually gets a step up fight like this. And then we also have another undisputed women's title fight in there, which is also unprecedented. We have, Franchon Cruz DeZern, trying to unify her 2 belts with the other champion at super middleweight, Elin Cederos. Cederos is 8-0, DeZern is 7-1, and this fight was supposed to be on the Triller card, which we would have seen Lopez and Kambosos. And this is where Triller still fucked up so bad. They actually had a decent card lineup for that shit, and their incompetence kind of ruined it. That and the COVID shit and all the other nonsense that Triller was doing at the time. Yeah, so but they got resurrected. DeZern, since then had gone off Golden Boy, and now has found a way into Matchroom. So yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. Truthfully, I thought that would actually be the co-main, but whatever.
How the name value of the co-main.
That's also true, yeah.
But he be treating his damn UK fights like the main events over here and shit. Like if Beefy and Vargas would not be a big deal over in the UK.
And truthfully, they weren't even supposed to be on this card. Like,
they weren't.
Yeah, they were supposed to be the co-main to Quadras and King Soar card, and then King Soar got that fell apart, and then they decided like, oh no, that fight was too good. They couldn't move it as a main event. So they put it on this as a co-main, which is fine. It works out. It's good. So I mean, quality fights there, and then we got some of the the prospects, Bishat Mati and Khalil Cole fighting on the undercard. So it's so yeah, like I mean, it's an entertaining card that they got. Eddie is lined up. So I mean, yeah, and it's not on DAZN pay-per-view either. I gotta mention that shit. I really hate that I really hate that concept. I really do. So like for once Eddie put together, it's a great undercard. Like I mean, that should be that whole card should be a whole. I mean, it should be a whole night of action. Like you could probably watch that shit. I mean, if you're interested in seeing the prospects do their thing first, like, you can probably watch that shit from jump.
I think what it is, we'll all be watching that from jump, and then we'll switch over to Stevenson or Valdez and watch that live.
Or that's
I know, or I'll be like more into that because I know Stevenson Taylor's gonna just go right by, and then somebody's gonna get brutally stopped in that anyway. Whereas Stevenson Valdez is like, I don't know, like it's still more like
I mean, me. Obviously, I'm gonna watch both cards at once. I mean, my spare laptop will have Top Rank on there because the undercard isn't where it needs to be.
That's what I'm saying. That shit gonna be trash. You know, I'm gonna be watching that.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it there because
the viewers are gonna spike when the main event starts.
Right. Yeah. Whereas the DAZN for sure will get my attention. We'll be on the big TV all night. All night for sure. So yeah, I can't wait though. I mean, and obviously, Eddie. When Eddie, holds cards at Madison Square Garden, usually something happens. I mean, obviously his best card was at Madison Square Garden, so it's like, can Lightning strike twice? Complete with an upset of somebody on this card. Oh man, no, but yeah, I can't wait though. I mean, cause especially after a lackluster heavyweight title fight and a piss poor undercard, it's good to see at least one card that that's built up, and then the other card not as much, but at least the main event should be fire. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till next Saturday. It's gonna be good.
Niggas had to treat the Joel Diaz Jr. in a Gesta fight.
Yeah, Mercedes Gesta. Hester.
Hester. Yeah, that was like the true co-main event of that weekend of boxing.
It was. Yeah,
and honestly, was the fight of the week, really, because the Fury White was bullshit. But that fight was damn near fight of the year, like.
Yeah, that also
them knockdowns, jeez.
Yeah. Shout out, and this is one thing this is why I think hopefully the zone continues to put money towards Golden Boy, because Golden Boy resurrected their Thursday night the Zone series, and that card was fire. Like, they had some really good scraps on there, and then Hesta and Joel Diaz Jr. Tore it up in the main event. Like, shit was dope.
Yeah. Damn good fight.
Yeah, because like I said, I like Matchroom for the most part, but the Zone does need a steady American presence in there, and that's where Golden Boy comes in. So you just gotta hope that hopefully that the Zone puts up on it, and then tries to rebuild the magic it briefly held back in 2019 when then these cards were like when those guys were in sync, with what they were airing. So yeah, I think that is about it for our previews and recaps and everything, man. So I think we can get into some final thoughts before we get up out of here. P, you have any final thoughts, bruh?
Ready for next weekend of boxing. It's going to be lit. It's going to be great. Say wipe away the stench of this weekend, and let's get into it. Other than that, you know what it is. Ring Gang Radio all day. So you know where to find us at ringgangradio.com, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You know the vibes. That's all I got to say.
Yes, sir, man. And then we got to make sure, Bodega Corner, man, that shit's going to be, that shit's going to be large, man. People come with his own flavor and everything. So you just got to make sure.
Yeah, Bodega Banter coming soon. We got I got some stuff in the, got some heat down there.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely. And then obviously, you'll get one of us at least on on his show and everything like that. So yeah, definitely make sure you stay tuned. LB, man, do you have any final thoughts?
Nah, just I'm looking forward to a good weekend of boxing coming up this weekend, and hope no one gets seriously injured, and the sport of justice, everybody comes in there to best. That's the only thing we can hope for. Shout out to everybody around the world that's fucking with us, Podomatic, Spotify, YouTube. If you fuck with our channel, just keep sharing it. Share it to your friends. Let them know. Comment. Jump on Facebook. TikTok. If you like seeing knockouts, just join us to TikTok, because we be posting up old school knockouts, new shit. Putting music behind it, just to vibe. We want to start putting more of the cartoon up that we working on episode 4. But other than that, just everybody just be safe this weekend. Have a blessed week and productive week. Bro, there's an album coming soon. I'm dropping that album. Hopefully like June or whatever. But we'll see. But that's it. That's all I got to say. Follow ringgangradio.com. Everywhere else we at.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Like I said, follow the YouTube. The YouTube is growing. Obviously, if you have been sharing, you've been letting us know that this is the shit right here. Thank you. Just say thank you in advance, man. We try to do this. YouTube, man. We got content coming on the way. The website, it's there. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming in that's coming down the pipeline, man. Can't wait, man. Shout out to the whole crew and everything like that, and shout out to you guys, the ones who tuned in to listen to us, man. We appreciate all of you, of course, like that, and yeah, man, we just gotta keep it moving, do what we do, man. So yeah, for myself, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative, for LB Shuttleworth, the God, the Go artist, and for King P, Bodega P, this has been another wonderful episode of Real Talk, where as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. So until next time, peace.